My son and his wife had their baby.
Oh my God, congrats, you're a grandma.
No, I was supposed to be in the labor and delivery room. I've called 36 times, no answer. They just had the baby literally 5 minutes ago. Why aren't they answering me? So did you use any of my name suggestions? Those were family names. It's that witch, isn't it? She didn't want to use them. I just don't get it. I was supposed to be the one to pull the baby out of her vagina.
Welcome to The Renewal. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Mother-in-laws. Although some in-laws can be toxic, it's also a lot of great mother-in-laws out here as well. I think when first meeting your significant other relatives, you should always make sure boundaries are set in place, just as you would expect from anyone else. The women in this video all have very valid points. I would like to hear you all's opinion in the comments.
Mother-in-laws. Sorry, not sorry, but I got some shit to address today. Now, before I get into that, let me just first state, I'm going to try to do this as respectfully but directly as possible. I want to know what it is that makes y'all think that as a grown man, you still have number one priority in this man's life. Ma'am, you had this man for 18 years. Anything that you needed to do with this man should have been done during those 18 years. If you slacked off during those 18 years, what makes you think that you can come step up now and expect to have a number one role in this man's life? This man right here, this man, that's my man, okay? If you got a man at home, that's your man. Tend to your man. You should be number one in your household, just like I'm going to be number one in mine. I'm the queen.
Mother-in-law who disrespects you, it's actually not your mother-in-law that has failed you, it is your husband. A mother-in-law can only be as toxic towards you as your husband allows. A lot of husbands will say, oh, I don't want to rock the boat. It's just how she is. But the fact is, the boat has already been rocked by a toxic mother-in-law. A husband who values his wife and wants his marriage to last will not tolerate his family disrespecting his wife. And the truth is, over time, it is very hard, if not impossible, for a wife to respect her husband if he can't even stand up to his own mother. And what I've seen in so many situations, a mother-in-law will make passive-aggressive remarks towards the wife, or blatantly cruel, rude comments towards the wife, or just consistently and purposefully disagree with what the wife values, with how she thinks, with her opinions. But here's the thing, a mother-in-law that is very dysfunctional actually gets a kick out of the fact that she can do that to her daughter-in-law because she knows her son is too weak to stand up for his wife. But while I get asked often by women, how do I deal with a toxic mother-in-law? Your husband should be. A husband should be protecting his wife from his own family. And a man who can't even do that is a coward. A man who is willing to risk the peace in his home with his wife because he's afraid to confront his mom, I don't understand it. Couldn't be me, because for me, if you disrespect my spouse, I'll put you in your place.
One thing I cannot stand are toxic mother-in-laws, because toxic mother-in-laws will literally disrespect their daughter-in-laws, but yet still expect their daughter-in-law to show up for Christmas and Thanksgiving as if nothing happened. When I was in a toxic relationship, my ex's mother was so mean to me. She would cut me out of family photos. She would literally still talk to the ex, invite the ex to family gatherings, criticize me, belittle me, and do all these little things towards me, and still expected me to show up to Christmas and Thanksgiving with a smile on my face as if nothing happened. At the end of the day, me and my ex stopped going. And the reason we stopped going, not because we were being bitter, we were being spiteful, we were trying to be hurtful or something like that. At the end of the day, we stopped going because we felt uncomfortable. I felt uncomfortable, and I didn't want to be in an environment that made me feel uncomfortable, because at the end of the day, the holiday seasons are supposed to be happy memories, not painful memories. So when we stopped going, of course, his mother would blame me, because of course she can't blame the son. That's her pride and joy. She blames me. And it's always easier to blame somebody outside of the bloodline than inside of the bloodline. But I have to tell you something, toxic mother-in-laws. Stop blaming your daughter-in-law for not wanting to show up to the holidays. You know who you should be blaming? You should be blaming yourself for disrespecting your daughter-in-law so much.
Y'all want to know why I don't care about these so-called mother-in-laws? Because I had one for 5 years sitting in my face laughing, a kiki. My daughter-in-law this, my daughter-in-law that. But the whole time behind my back saying, mama's baby, daddy's maybe. Girl, your son the one that's cheating, not me.
I would say that maybe you don't include her enough, and maybe you're not making her feel like an important part of the family. I know that's putting a lot on you, because the lady might just be annoying, and that's fine. But I would venture to say that oftentimes we take on this ideal of, well, this is my family and she needs to back off. And we're not very sensitive to the fact that, yes, this man is supposed to leave his mother and his father and cleave to us. But we're not sensitive to the fact that we also just took her son from under her. Right? And her son probably was doing for her. He might have been taking care of her. He might have been spending time with her, more time with her, I should say. And when I say take him from under her, I'm not saying that your husband is a mama's boy, but I'm saying that she has never had to really worry about another woman coming before herself. And now this man has a wife and you're coming first. But if you have an overbearing mother-in-law, I talked about this in our last YouTube video, but I personally think that you should take more time to invite her to things and set up things just for her. Like, give her special time, because when you start to give her special time and you actually start to develop a relationship with her, she's going to feel less like she has to impose and she has to insert herself. You're probably not inviting her enough. You're probably not giving her access to your family enough. And I think that when you start to do that, you're going to see, one, she's going to become more reasonable, and she's not going to be able to argue when you do feel like, okay, well, we just want to hang out by ourselves, or like, not this time. So yeah, invite that lady to stuff. Set up some things just for her, you and the grandkids, even without her son. Set up like a time frame where y'all do things together and it's a regular thing, so that she doesn't feel like she has to insert herself because y'all are just not thinking of her. She's not the most important point of y'all family, but she is still important, and you definitely gonna miss that lady and all her help when she's no longer here. So
I'm a narcissistic mother-in-law. You may be with my son, but mommy always comes first. I'm a narcissistic mother-in-law. You may be marrying my son, but you need to run all the details by me. If I don't like it or I don't agree, obviously it needs to change. Mommy's opinion always comes first. I'm a narcissistic mother-in-law. You may be married to my son, but do not forget he loved me first. Therefore, your opinion is irrelevant. I'm a narcissistic mother-in-law. Boundaries? What are those? He's my son. I need to know absolutely everything. I'm a narcissistic mother-in-law. Of course my son needs to call me every single day. I need to be reminded how much I am loved and that I come first. I'm a narcissistic mother-in-law. You guys got in a fight? Well, clearly it's not his fault. He's my son. We're never wrong. I'm a narcissistic mother-in-law. I'm starting to see and speak to you less. Therefore, I think she's interfering with our relationship, and it's time to let this one go. And I'm a narcissistic mother-in-law. If I don't like you, which I don't, I will do absolutely whatever it takes to make sure you kick rocks.
As moms, do we not get to name our babies after we have them, or is it just me? I am currently hiding because my mother-in-law is currently staying with us a couple rooms down. Now, I have a serious question. My mother-in-law decided a couple weeks ago that she wants to name our child. I am giving birth in 2 weeks. Now, the name and everything that we had picked out for the baby can no longer be put on the baby because my mother-in-law wants to name the baby. And I know what you're gonna say. Your husband, I'm sure, has your back, right? Your husband should have your back so that you guys are able to name your child whatever you guys want. But no, he's actually siding with my mother-in-law, saying that we need to allow her to name the baby, which, mind you, she wants to put the same name that she has on the baby. So my mother-in-law and my baby are going to have the same name. At this point, all talking is completely done with my mother-in-law and with my husband, because he's siding with her regardless of what I say, regardless of what comes out of my mouth. It feels like it's not even going to be our baby, it's going to be my mother-in-law's baby. Honestly, at this point, I think it's best for me to pack all my shit and leave before I actually have the baby, because there's no way in hell that I'm going to allow my mother-in-law to name my child that I've been carrying for 9 months.
Ladies, you gotta understand that if you have a bitter ass mother-in-law, she gonna be bitter forever. It don't matter how much of a good wife you are to her son, how good of a mother you are to her grandkids. You could work 7 fucking jobs. One thing I learned about these bitter ass mother-in-laws is that these bitches are delusional. They think that the only female entitled to their son's love and time is them. So it don't matter. You could literally bend over backwards and do everything correctly. In her mind, you are never going to be good enough for her son. So she's going to continue to treat you like shit. And also, a lot of them, they don't like when you change their son. Even if it's for them to be a better man, they don't like it. Because that means that you're not going to put up with the bullshit that they put up with. And they want you to deal with the bullshit that they put up with. Here's my thing. I have a son. He brings home a girl. I'm going to try my hardest to get along with her. As long as she ain't out here being a hoe, I'ma try to get along with her. Why? Because that's who makes my son happy and that's who he wants to be with. And what the fuck I look like standing in the way of his happiness because in my delusional mind, I don't think any female is good enough.